Somebody wanted to get dog walked today, so let's do it. So, this comment was left on a video where I was talking about how what's happening in Burkina Faso is a genocide. By definition, by all definitions and all parameters, the terrorist killing in Burkina Faso is a genocide. However, this comment was left by someone who wants to get dog walked. If only there was a peacekeeping force in the country, maybe led by the French. How about this? There were 400 French troops in Burkina Faso. They did nothing. There were troops in Niger and Mali from France. They did nothing. Guess what they did? So, France called the terrorists. How do you call terrorists? By the way, how do you contact terrorists? I often had the same question for New Times, which is a newspaper run by Paul Kagame in Rwanda, and they always had the rebels that were taking over in the Congo. They always had interviews with them. How do you pick up the phone, call terrorists, and say, hey, let's have a conversation? You can only pick up the phone and talk to terrorists if you are arming and funding them and if you pay for them to do what they do, by the way. So again, France decided to have a meeting with the terrorists that they're probably funding because that's the only way you can pick up terrorists and call them. But you're in countries like Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. You're supposed to be fighting those terrorists and getting them out of the country. No, they didn't. So here's a fun fact. France made deals with these terrorists and said, hey, why don't you operate in this part of the country? You know, the part of the country that's being ravaged and where we're stealing resources from. Why don't you hang out there and then leave the rest of the country alone? And in the case of Burkina Faso, because it is a smaller country compared to Niger and Mali, there were really no regions that you can give to terrorists. So the former president, who was so-called democratically elected in December of 2020, he only had 20% of the country. Yes. And the good old French troops were there. By the way, France is ranked one of the most powerful countries in powerful militaries in Europe, and it is in the top 10, top 5 most powerful militaries in the world. I'm going to say that again because I jumbled that up a bit. France is ranked as the most powerful military in Europe and top 5 in the most powerful militaries in the world. And you mean to tell me that you couldn't fight off some ragtag terrorists that are running rampant through the Sahel? No, because they didn't want to. And they didn't really try to. So